Right now at 6, reports of gunfire near a Vancouver school sends 2 campuses into lockdown.
My brother just texted my mom and he said that there's a lot of cops here.
Plus, new video of an out-of-control driver speeding right through Portland's Grand Floral Parade.
They got it all blocked off. The Lloyd Center exit, the Convention Center exit.
What we're learning about the moments before the driver crashed through the barricades. And
the most urgent thing that we're asking for is a ceasefire now.
Amidst the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, new calls for elected leaders in the Northwest to help pursue peace.
Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Laurel Porter. And we begin with newly released dashcam video that shows a road rage incident in June when a driver plowed through barricades at the Rose Festival Grand Floral Parade. The driver nearly hit several people, including small children along the parade route.
Investigative reporter Kyle Lavoshi just obtained that video and joins us live in the newsroom. Kyle.
Rarely do we get to see the evidence in an open criminal investigation, but in this case, prosecutors submitted the dramatic video taken from inside the suspect's truck as evidence during a preventative detention hearing. They wanted to keep him behind bars, and a judge agreed. Then we obtained the video through a public records request. A warning before we play it, there are some intense moments that may not be appropriate for all viewers. This never-before-seen footage shows a Portland man plowing past barricades, nearly hitting several people along the Rose Festival's Grand Floral Parade route in June. Sidney Meacham is facing felony charges for the alleged road rage incident. At the time, there was no clear motive for his speeding toward children and families. The 30-minute recording submitted as evidence in a preventative detention hearing provides new insight into the June 10th incident. The dashcam video shows Meacham become increasingly frustrated by heavy traffic. His music is blaring as Meacham heads towards the Moda Center in North Portland, where he planned to meet others, including his mother. ODOT crews had blocked off numerous exits to help keep traffic away from the parade route.
They got it all blocked off. The Lloyd Center exit, the Convention Center exit, every motherfucking exit. You
The video shows Meacham driving through a row of barricades before blowing past ODOT crews blocking the exit ramp. A Portland police motorcycle officer chased after Meacham's truck before pulling up beside him. The officer shouted for Meacham to stop, but he refused. The truck eventually turned, exiting the parade route. Meacham drove through barricades, nearly hitting several people. An unmarked police SUV attempted to stop Meacham at a red light in Portland's Lloyd district, but he drove off. The video showed Meacham continuing to drive for several blocks until he eventually stopped near other officers in northeast Portland. Meacham, a registered sex offender, was arrested and taken to jail, where he'll remain while awaiting trial. Meacham has pleaded not guilty to 38 counts related to the alleged road rage incident, including felony charges of unlawful use of a weapon and attempting to elude police. No trial date has been set.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to watch, Kyle. We appreciate you providing that video and sharing the context there. Thanks so much.
Developing this evening in Vancouver, where reports of gunfire sent 2 school campuses into lockdown this afternoon. Just after 1 o'clock, Evergreen School District officials say there was a report of shots fired in the area near Evergreen High School and Cascade Middle School on Northeast 18th Street. A shelter-in-place order was issued while police investigated. They found several shell casings and a 9mm handgun in a parking lot behind the stadium and arrested a 16-year-old male who matched the description provided by witnesses. Police say he is not believed to be a student. During the lockdown, it was an anxious afternoon, as you can imagine, for students and their families.
My sister emailed us, saying that there's a shooting in school, and they're just currently on lockdown, and that's the last that we heard.
We got word around 3:30 the lockdown was lifted. Students were then bused to district headquarters to be picked up.
Well, within the last hour, President Biden addressed the nation about the escalating war between Israel and Hamas, as well as Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine. This evening, the president reiterated the U.S. commitment to the security of both Ukraine and Israel and said he will send an urgent request to Congress on Friday to boost military funding for both, something, of course, that cannot be done until the House elects a new speaker. Meanwhile, the State Department issued a rare worldwide caution security alert for all Americans overseas due to the potential for violence and increased tensions. In Gaza, also, there is now an agreement in theory to open the Rafah crossing from Egypt on Friday for humanitarian deliveries only. The UN is calling for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire to allow aid to reach people inside Gaza. Let's bring in Daisy Caballero now, because hundreds of people also gathered in Portland today to echo those calls for a ceasefire.
Yeah, David, you're absolutely right. And the event was put on by the Jewish Voice for Peace Portland, a group of Jewish people that stand in solidarity with Palestinian people. And their message is for state leaders to sign the Ceasefire Now resolution that was introduced by over a dozen House representatives earlier this week. Now, what this resolution would do is send humanitarian assistance into Gaza and put an end to the current violence that has claimed the lives of thousands. People I spoke with at the rally shared that although Portland is far from the Middle East, they hope the people of Israel and Palestine know Portlanders are on their side to end the war. Others shared they feel involuntarily part of the conflict as they want it all to stop.
I think the biggest concern is that it's my tax dollars being used to send additional weapons and military aid to Israel, which will do nothing other than escalate the situation. I don't condone what Hamas did. At the same time, I think the retribution that we're seeing on the part of the Israeli military is uncalled for.
And another group is planning a rally in support for the Israeli people, as well as a plea for peace. That's set for this Sunday afternoon in downtown Portland. David Laurel.
Thank you, Daisy. In your headlines this evening, the city of Portland's reporting its 51st traffic death of the year. It happened late last night on Southeast Holgate and involved one car. You can see it here in this video. The car is demolished near a tree. 2 women were inside. One of them died. The other was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Holgate shut down overnight between 134th and 136th as police investigated, but the road is open again. We'll keep you updated on the story as we learn more.
To a follow-up now about Multnomah County commissioners seeking to raise restaurant health inspection fees by about 6%. After pushback from some restaurant owners, including some you heard from on Wednesday, today commissioners voted against that proposed hike. It turns out that'll leave the county with a funding shortfall because the revenue from those higher fees was already built into the budget.
Federal regulators have approved a controversial expansion of a natural gas pipeline in the Pacific Northwest. The 1,300-mile GTN pipeline delivers natural gas from Canada to Idaho, Washington, and Central Oregon. Its owner, TC Energy, said it needed to add capacity to the pipeline to meet the demand. To do so, it sought permission to upgrade 3 compressor stations, including one in Sherman County. The expansion was opposed by environmental groups and Democratic elected leaders, saying it would undermine efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
And fire season is officially over. The Oregon Department of Forestry says firefighters responded to 975 fire starts this year on state-managed lands. That is on pace with the 10-year average. For context here, wildfires burned about 190,000 acres across Oregon this year. That is less than half of last year's total. ODF is crediting partnerships among local, state, and federal agencies, plus aggressive initial attacks by firefighters. Matt?
Well, that's pretty much right on schedule. See, fire season ending in mid-October, right at the start of the rainy season. Of course, the rain back in September helped as well. Check out our story right now. It's already setting in with the fog and the low clouds there, 62 degrees. But what a beautiful day all around the Northwest. Sunset happening now out at the Reserve Golf Course over the Coast Range, still hanging on to 7 degrees at the moment. We go farther east. There's Mount Hood from our camera in the Dalles. So basically, from the valleys to and over the Cascades clear, still 75 over in the Dalles. We had fog this morning. There it is. We'll have fog again tomorrow morning. It's going to burn off. There'll be a slight difference tomorrow. Not quite as warm. We are 73 today for the second day in a row. We had 80s in Central Oregon again. Tomorrow we'll top out at about 70 because we're going to catch some high clouds later on in the day, but still a really nice, warm, beautiful October day. Sunset tomorrow at 6:16. Okay, morning fog, but still warm on Friday. Your headlines are like this. Showers on Sunday, but they're mainly light, not looking at a lot of rain there. And then much cooler next week with valley rain and snow in the mountains. More on that later, guys.
Thank you, Matt. In Gresham, a MAX train hit and killed a man early this morning, and officials tell us he was within a restricted area between stations.
Ashley Grams joins us now. And Ashley, this isn't the first fatal incident involving a MAX train there.
This was the third person in 3 years to be hit and killed by a MAX train between the station at 197th and the one we're at right now, Civic Drive. TriMet MAX trains run daily to and from Gresham, but early Thursday morning, trains were stopped.
When they got to the scene, they found the person and they were deceased.
Jerem Swayze with Gresham Police says a MAX train hit a man who was on the tracks and killed him. He said it happened between Northwest Wallula and Northwest Bella Vista.
I ain't never seen nobody get hit over here before.
Nick lives near Civic Station, the closest station to the collision. He was shocked to hear someone was walking on the tracks.
For somebody to actually be on the track, that's just madness to me.
Gresham Police found headphones at the scene, and they're investigating whether the man was wearing them at the time and if that contributed to the crash.
If somebody's distracted or if they're listening to headphones or anything, they may not hear a train coming.
But Nick is wondering if Thursday morning fog played a part in the collision.
It was foggy this morning, so there's a possibility they probably didn't even see them walking on there. You know, because it was so foggy out here.
This stretch of MAX tracks between 197th and Civic has seen 2 other deadly crashes in the past 2 years. In 2022, a man was hit and killed by a train, and in 2021, a woman. In all 3 of these cases, people were in restricted areas.
Prevent distractions when you're near a track, and also if you see a track, think train.
Police are still investigating, but I think this is a reminder to everyone to just be aware. Take those headphones off, look up from your phone, and of course, stay off the tracks. Laurel, David.
Thank you, Ashley.